Hello, my name is Alexander Lee-Rekers and I'm the author of Lights in the Park. I was working with a group of young theatre makers for an ATYP course. This was in 2018, and they were an incredibly talented bunch. And I wanted to write something that celebrated not just the talents that they had on display, but also the wonderful people they were. I think we tend to do a lot of catastrophizing when it comes to young people in drama. So I wanted to write something quite celebratory, something where we could showcase what wonderful people they already are. The play explores building community and building your community for the first time. So when you're faced with the darkness, when you're faced with the unknown of the world, you can choose to walk that path alone, or you can choose to create groups of people that support one another. And I think something we forget is that young people are really good at doing that. They all want equal lines to say, so you have to make sure that you're writing in a very democratic method. Everybody's got to have their moment, got to have their arc. But then that's great writing anyway, I think, if you can do that. You've got to bring that life to all of the characters in the ensemble. I think what's lovely about it is that they want to find that very authentic self in those kind of roles. I think, first and foremost, not to belittle them, not to condescend to them. I think in a lot of art about young people, we always talk about the potential and we write them, and it's not them writing themselves, which I think is a really important distinction. I'm not a teenager and I wouldn't deign to speak for them. There's a lot that we do when we say, you're not grown up yet, you're not going to be counted yet, but one day. And I think we need to focus on the fact that they are the here and now, and they are feeling the kind of things that we feel, and they are going through the same kind of triumphs and traumas that we do as adults, as grown-up people. And I think it's really important to reflect that and to exhibit that. It's very tough at times to make sure that you are giving them the full respect that they deserve, because it can be easy with all of our biases to make them look naive and passionate and not level-headed. There's two answers to that question. I love to bring people of that age to come along and see themselves represented on a stage and celebrated, not talked down to, not lectured, not punished. And I also hope that parents and family and older people will come along and start to get an understanding of how wonderful these younger generations are. What I'm really hoping is those two generations can start to form a conversation where we realise we're actually not so different, we're quite united in the concerns that we have for the world and for the things that we want, and perhaps adults aren't quite as together as they seem, and perhaps young people aren't quite as scattered as we think they are. Look, I relate to all of them because they're all facets of me, and I'm more and less proud of each of those facets as it goes through. I think the character of Hal, the Dungeon Master, is one that I identified with very strongly. They've got a very strong arc, and they tackle some of the more difficult aspects of being that age, and really, in the context of many of the other players in that, actually struggle with the darkness and the potential for trying to solve problems in their lives in a less productive, kind of less wholesome, healing way. So I think Hal has a very close place in my heart in terms of who that character is and what they're struggling with. And I really hope that people that identify with that character can watch this and go, there's a path forward for you, and it's going to be okay, it's going to be fantastic. And you're great now, you don't need to... I would hate for people to look back on themselves and only discover years later that they were terrific people then. So I'm hoping Howls will come to see this play and realise that they are amazing now. It is going to be a fantastic show. I hope you come along, bring family and friends, and book your tickets at atyp.com.au.